Hey y'all, this is Tony Paradis. I'm a licensed dietitian and personal trainer. Check out my website, which I'll link below at foodandfitnessonline.com. Today, we're talking about high-intensity training, in other words, single set to failure, the protocol for the novice. So if you're a beginner or if you've never lifted weights before, high-intensity training is a great program that could work for you. It has a great cost-to-benefit ratio because you're in and out of the gym in a short amount of time. I'm going to give you guys my instructions, and I'm going to show you guys just some examples of how a high-intensity training program may work for you. So let's start off with the basics. My instructions for high-intensity training are going to be perform 6 to 18 repetitions, 1 warm-up set, and 1 working set. So for a typical warm-up set, you want to grab about half the weight you're going to use and just do enough repetitions until you feel like you've gone through the motion. I recommend maybe about half the repetitions, half the weight. That should be sufficient for a warm-up set. If you're going really heavy, you can even do an even heavier warm-up set leading up to that point. But it just really depends on you and what you feel you need that day. Your working set is going to be taken to as close to failure as you can. Perform a 4-second eccentric phase of the contraction. So that means as you lower the weight, so for example if I was doing a shoulder press, I would take about 4 seconds to lower the weight and then raise the weight at a normal speed, coming down nice and slow. This gives you a little more time under tension, and if you go up for 1 second, that gives you about 5 seconds for each contraction, which for 6 to 18 repetitions will give you between 30 and 90 seconds as a time under tension, which gives you a good range of the different kind of stimulation you're going to get from the high intensity training. And that's why I have that 6 to 18 repetition recommendation for the beginner. You want to do minimum rest time in between your sets. So going from one exercise to the other, try to rest as little as possible. Not so much that you're getting sick or that you can't even complete the workout, but you want to hustle. The reason for this is because as a beginner, you're also going to see a lot to gain in your metabolic conditioning. So by doing your high intensity training one after the other, you're going to get a lot of great anaerobic conditioning through the exercise, which puts you at a great platform for being able to launch into maybe another weight training method from there. Moving on. I recommend 3 times a week performed on non-consecutive days. So this would be like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, a Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, or so on and so forth. It can be more, it can be less. I just normally recommend that for a beginner, 3 times a week, from my experience in training newbies, is a great consistency, or sorry, a great frequency for the beginner to get the neurological advantages there, and also for the muscle building, the strength building advantages. I want you guys to take 1 day off after a month of straight training, and this is just a moderate deload. So for example, if you're doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you do that for about 4 weeks, then on your next Monday you would take that Monday off and then start on Wednesday, Friday, just to give your joints a break, just to give your body a break, and going on from there. I want you to increase the weight and decrease the reps if you get stuck after 4 lifts. So remember how I said 6 to 18 repetitions. Your goal is to increase the amount of repetitions that you do every time. So, you know, this time I do 6 repetitions, next time I may do 10, 12, whatever. Let's say if I get stuck at 12 4 times in a row, I'm not just going to stop there. I'm going to go ahead and increase the weight, start over again at 6, and see how far I can go up. And I'll explain that a little bit more in detail. So you can see that I have this drawing behind me. I'm going to explain this as an example of what your rep ranges with your workout and your load may look like. Now, just to kind of give you guys an overview, as your volume would be up here. So as your volume increases, as your intensity increases, you're going to see a decrease in your volume. So you kind of see a wave pattern here, and that's going to be representative of hitting those 18 reps, starting back over at 6, building back over to 18. Eventually, you're not going to be able to do that. You're only going to be able to take the next increment of weight, of load, up to 18 so many times. Maybe it'll be 2, maybe it'll be 3. It just really depends on the exercise, you, how much you're eating. There's many different variables. Eventually, you're going to go down until you're not able to increase the volume and the intensity doing single sets of high intensity training, of training to failure. At that point, when you guys hit the bottom, in other words, you have the heaviest weight that you can do, you're performing 6 repetitions, and you cannot eke out another repetition. You can't get 7 for the life of you, and after 4 repetitions, that means that you're stuck. So you have a number of different options that you can do from here, which I think I'm going to explain that in another video, but my recommendation is that once you get stuck there is try a different style of training. The advantage of high intensity training is that it's great for beginners, it's very linear progression, and it keeps you in and out of the gym in a short amount of time. You can only ride that wave for so long. Once you get stuck at the end for however many weeks, you had a great run, you did really good, you're probably going to have to start adding more volume, doing additional sets of 6 or a 5x5 program or something like that. The idea is that high intensity training gets you to that point, gets you to that starting point, that base of that pyramid, without having to invest a lot of time to get there. So that's the trade-off. So your rep range example here with an exercise like bicep curls. So this is how maybe one exercise might work for you using my high intensity training protocol. Let's say that, and each of these blocks right here represents a workout. This is the load, or in other words, the weight that you're going to use. And then here's an example of the rep range. So on your workout number 1, the first workout you do, you're going to grab 10 pounds and you're going to do bicep curls. You're going to go all the way up to 12 repetitions. Okay, on your next workout, we're still trying to get to 18 repetitions. Try to get to 18 before you increase the weight. So maybe here we get 15 repetitions. All right, on our third workout, we've hit 18 repetitions. So what does that mean? That means we're done with the 10 pounds. We're going to go up the next increment in weight. On your fourth workout, we're starting at 15, and you get, for example, 6 repetitions on that one. Moving on your fifth workout, you may get 12 repetitions or 10 repetitions. You may get 16 repetitions here, and on your seventh workout, using that 15-pound weight, now we've gone all the way up to 18 repetitions. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to increase the weight once again. This is what this looks like here. We got to the 18, we started over, we got to the 18 again, we got to the 18. Now what we're doing is we're increasing the weight again, so we have 20 pounds here on your 8th workout. So we're into the 3rd week of exercising here, and you've already improved the amount of load that you're able to do, and the volume has been going up and down each time. 20 pounds, 6 times, you're moving up a little more slowly here, and these 4 blocks is what I want to represent getting stuck. So that's on this rule right here, is if you get stuck for 4 lifts. So let's say, for example, you're doing the bicep curl and you get stuck at 20 pounds and you're only able to do, let's say, 14 repetitions here. Okay, and the next time you go in, you try it again, you try your very hardest, you only get 14. You only get 14. You really try on that 4th workout to get that 15th rep, but it doesn't happen and you're stuck. Okay? When you guys get stuck, don't just hang out there. What I want you to do is I want you to increase the weight again. So now on this 14th workout, we're increasing the weight to 25 pounds. Now we perform 6 reps, 7 reps, 8 reps. If you get stuck again, increase the weight again. So hypothetically here, you might get stuck at 30 pounds on your bicep curl and you're no longer able to do more than 6 repetitions. When you get stuck at that bottom of the repetition range, that's when it's time to try something new, and I touched on that earlier. So guys, I appreciate you watching once again another video in my series on high intensity training and how this can help the novice. You can check out some of my other videos that I'll post here on how high intensity training can be effective as a hybrid workout for an advanced or an intermediate lifter. I'll talk about the science of that. You guys can check out those videos. If you like this, like it. If you have a comment for me, leave a comment down below in the comment box. If you've tried high intensity training, if it worked for you, if it didn't work, let's start a conversation. I'd love to hear from you guys. Check out my website at foodandfitnessonline.com, and I got a newsletter on there. If you subscribe to my newsletter, you'll get a free copy of my book. My name is Tony Paradis, licensed dietitian and personal trainer. Today we talked about high intensity training, my protocol for the novice, and hope you guys stay tuned. I'm out. Thanks.